Well, I was gone Monday and Tuesday, and Danny Parkins filled in. Super talented guy out of Chicago. Did a great job filling this for us on the show, and our staff just loved him, and he is joining us live now before he does his afternoon show in Chicago. First of all, thanks for filling in. It was a real treat to watch you, and the staff loved you, and thanks for that. I appreciate your work.
Oh, well, thank you for the compliment. And honestly, it was really nice because people are like, oh, Colin Cowherd, it's a one-man band. No.
Yeah.
There's many people in this band. And now I know the true genius behind the brains that is Colin Cowherd. Your staff is absolutely incredible.
That's right. It's like the Wizard of Oz. You go behind the curtain, and he's not really doing that much. So I want to talk about the Bears. And I said this yesterday. When Justin Fields went for just a 6th-round pick, it's actually good news for the Bears. Because NFL personnel people are telling you, yeah, the gap between Caleb and Justin is the Grand Canyon, and you still won 7 games with that quarterback. So in a weird way, going for a 6th-round pick, to me, I felt like, oh, this team's ready to win now. And I don't want to get too hyperbolic on it, because it's the Bears, and they, culturally they're always off. But if you ask your typical listener, and fans can be, they're fans, they emote. But I don't think it's crazy to say, yeah, this can be a playoff team. Does that seem too much too soon?
Not at all. We saw C.J. Stroud win a playoff game last year. And he did not enter a situation that was half as good, at least how we thought about it 12 months ago, as the one that Caleb Williams is walking into. And we know that Caleb was a higher level prospect than CJ Stroud. So we see rookie quarterbacks, if they are talented and they go into good situations, have success early. Justin Herbert, he had 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions as a rookie. I don't know why Caleb Williams couldn't be the first Bears quarterback ever to throw for 30 touchdowns or the first Bears quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards as a rookie. And if they won 7 games without him, the expectation is certainly to win more than 7 games with him, because it's not just him that they added. They should have upgraded at play caller. They certainly upgraded at wide receiver 2 with Keenan Allen. They certainly upgraded at wide receiver 3 with Rome Odunze. They upgraded with DeAndre Swift. This offense should have gotten a lot better this offseason.
So we were talking earlier, we got into a debate on Dak Prescott, and I've always said if you look at the numbers, basically he's Kirk Cousins with a star on his helmet, that he's a bigger brand, but Kirk, whenever you pay Kirk, it's what are you doing? And if you don't pay Dak, it's what are you doing? And the truth is their numbers are virtually the same. Kirk throws a better, more accurate ball, Dak's the better athlete, but they're kind of B-plus guys who have made A, money. And I believe there is a truth serum in the NFL. You can win a Super Bowl on a rookie quarterback contract or having an all-time great making money. You cannot be a Super Bowl team with a B-plus quarterback making A-plus money. And so I think it's all fear-based when I hear, what do you do if you don't have Dak? And my takeaway is, you figure it out. I mean, the Niners whiffed on Trey Lance and went and got Brock Purdy. You figure it out. What do you do with Dak if you ran the Cowboys?
You pay him, and you can accuse me of being fear-based, Colin, but they don't have Kyle Shanahan. They have Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy only wins playoff games if he has Aaron Rodgers. So I don't think that you can say, well, they'll just figure it out. I have no faith in their ability to figure it out. And we need to learn something from history. Like you're right. He puts up great stats. The Kirk Cousins comp, I don't think, is wildly unfair. But Kirk Cousins, at 35 years old, coming off a ruptured Achilles, just got $100 million guaranteed, up to $180 million. Dak Prescott is 30 years old. He's homegrown. He used to be 23-6 and a conservative check-down, risk-averse quarterback every year. This past year, they led the league in points. He led the league in passing touchdowns. He's 30 years old. He's coming off the best season of his career. He's the runner-up for MVP. I think it's totally reasonable to think that he's got a ceiling that is higher than Kirk Cousins. We just saw it this past year, at least in terms of how he finished relative to the league, winning 12 games, 3 straight years. They have no alternative. They're too good to draft high, to draft a replacement. I understand that he'll be 10% overpaid, but The Falcons said, we can't do it with Desmond Ridder anymore. We've got to get competency at that position. The alternative is what, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance? So yeah, call it fear-based if you want, but it's a binary thing. It's a have and have not league. And if you have a quarterback, I think you have to pay him if it's Dak Prescott.
The other debate I get into is Aaron Rodgers. And I said, Aaron's always been polarizing because he replaced maybe the most popular player in my life in Brett Favre. And they had a little feud. So that's like LeBron and Michael Jordan. Michael was more loved. Whether you think LeBron's better, Michael was more beloved. Whoever replaces Michael is going to get heat, unless maybe you're Magic, right? So like Aaron, it was tough. You're replacing, in small-town America, the most beloved player in the league. And then he has vaccine opinions and political opinions, but I don't care. I don't care who you vote for. My guess is most quarterbacks are conservative. I'm not. I don't care. But my knock on him has always been, I always say, little bit of a bailer more than a baller. He's not a foxhole guy. 21 playoff games, 1 come from behind. He's great with a lead. He's great in great weather. But he's lost home playoff games as a favorite to Garoppolo, old Tom Brady, Colin Kaepernick. And I've said, I feel what if you go to the heart of his career and the heart of Aikman's, Bradshaw, Brady, Manning, Ben, Warner, it doesn't stack up. It's an NBA career where he's rich. He's got a big brand. It's aesthetically pleasing. I like Aaron. I think we've anointed him to a class. It doesn't feel like he belongs, and you think I'm nuts.
I think you're absolutely insane. There is some level of eye test that we have to apply to this sort of thing because it is, it's the ultimate team game. One player cannot just win you a Super Bowl. I mean, I lost a bunch of money when Mike McCarthy took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands in an NFC championship game where they were up 12 in the fourth quarter against Seattle, and this guy's settling for field goals inside the 5-yard line and like, no, I'll give it to Eddie Lacy. Like, what are you doing? Like, that was purely on Mike McCarthy, not on Aaron Rodgers. The only guy in league history with more MVPs than Rodgers is Peyton Manning. Only 10 guys ever have multiple MVPs. He's got 4. He's got a ring. He's about to pass Marino this year for 8th all-time in passing yards. Like, if Aaron Rodgers isn't an all-time great, is Drew Brees not an all-time great? He's only been to 1 Super Bowl. He only has 1 ring. He's 2nd all-time in passing yards. He has no MVPs. I think we would say that Brees is an all-time guy. So if Aaron Rodgers, who impacted the influence of the style of play, the off-angle throws, the off-timing throws, Patrick Mahomes has said Rodgers' style of play influences him. Caleb Williams has said his favorite quarterback ever to watch is Aaron Rodgers. The modern great quarterbacks that dominate football, they steal from this guy. Just like in the NBA, people steal from Steph Curry. So he doesn't have the rings. True. I blame Mike McCarthy for that. It's a team sport. There's no doubt in my mind that Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great quarterback.
That's not a bad argument. That's a pretty decent argument there. There is an influence thing. I've been defending Steph Curry forever, that he's more influential than LeBron. He's not the player, but he's more influential. And, So I want to go WNBA. I think this is fascinating. I said the NBA, it's not that Magic and Bird saved it, but they made it highly commercial. They meet in college. And then Magic wins a title, and then Bird wins the next. And neither one dominated the rivalry. And that's why it was a rivalry. The reason Brady and Big Ben don't feel like rivalries, and Brady and Manning do, is there was more give and take with Manning and Brady, especially at the end when Manning started winning more. Is that I said, I think it's great if Caitlin Clark gets snubbed by the Olympics and Angel Reese wins Rookie of the Year. It will incentivize the Caitlin Clark. They're like Swifties. Like Taylor Swift, when she was dissed by Kanye, it emboldened her fan base to be more supportive. She's never looked back. And I find the pushback on Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and I argue, to truly change the league and not just your pocketbook, it's better for the league that Angel Reese wins Rookie of the Year. Am I nuts on that too?
Well, I think you're nuts if you think it's going to happen, at least according to the odds makers. I think Caitlin's got I saw minus 350, minus 400 for her to win Rookie of the Year. Some places, as a couple of weeks ago, it was minus 800. So it's moving in Angel Reese's direction, but she's still an overwhelming favorite. In terms of the rivalries are good for sports. one of my main principles in doing this is I want less hate in the world and more hate in sports because rivalries are fun. Trash talk is fun. It's okay. We don't need to protect these people from our delicate, fragile sensibilities. They are elite world-class athletes who get paid handsomely, who have chosen to enter the life that they have. And it's okay. We can talk about it and be critical and debate it, and everyone's going to be fine. And so I like the Bird Magic comparison. But another thing that I think factors into that is the WNBA has had stars in the past. They've had great college players in the past. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, Candace Parker. These were college basketball stars. But, and you know this as much as anyone, you're as media savvy in the sports space, we weren't watching them in college like we watched Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Right.
The numbers for the women's Final Four in terms of TV ratings is still one of the most shocking things to me of the last 10 years in sports media. They were getting more viewers than big-time college football games. Non-BCS, national championship college football playoff games. Oh, the Orange Bowl? Nope. More people watched Iowa women's basketball in the Final Four.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're not surprised when college football players that we care about, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, whomever, come into the NFL and we already have opinions about them because 20 million people watch their games in college. So everyone had an opinion about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese before they got to the pros. And now we're in our corners, we're defending narratives, we're arguing about it. And that is the thing that I think is healthiest for the sport, that they have a rivalry that dates back to when tens of millions of people saw their origin story.
So I said, I got so many questions. I was kind of taken back by how many people on my vacation came up out east and said, what do you make about Bronny being drafted to the Lakers? And here's my analogy. The people angry with it, I said, if you went to a steakhouse for 10 years and you took clients there for 10 years and you spent a lot of money on your Amex card for 10 years, when you go to that steakhouse, you expect a little better pour on the Pinot and the table you want, right? Right? LeBron's carried the league for 20 years. The league owes him a solid. He wasn't in the playoffs. He and Steph this year didn't have playoff runs. The ratings tanked. So I'm like, folks, this is the way America works. You owe Bron 20 years of never in trouble, always a good guy, talking about the way to play the game. Are you surprised by the outrage of it and did it bother you that maybe a G League level player got drafted by LeBron and the Lakers?
No, it's how the world works. And I mean, it's an interesting point about what the NBA owes him, but it's really the Lakers. The NBA didn't draft Bronny. The Lakers drafted Bronny for LeBron, and he delivered them a championship in the bubble. So I get it. The only thing I have a problem with is the stuff that seems to be coming out of the LeBron camp of how that they don't have as much influence in all of this as it defies logic. They hired his podcast co-host to be the coach of the team. He said his favorite player in college basketball other than Bronny was Dalton Knecht, and they drafted Bronny and Dalton Knecht. And we're supposed to be like, and LeBron has no influence in this offseason. Like that, come on. Like just say what you just said. LeBron James is the biggest star in the world. He's carried the league. He's carried the franchise. He's leading the huddle at Team USA after their wins. The star among stars. Everybody respects him. And, oh, yeah, by the way, LeBron might honestly be able to say, sure, Bronny isn't totally ready for the NBA. But you know what has a better shot at getting him ready for the NBA? Playing in the NBA, training in the NBA. Watch how I play and train in the NBA. Because LeBron got to the NBA as soon as possible. What is better to develop a player? The NBA or USC? It's clearly the NBA. So LeBron's doing his kid a solid because he can. Is nepotism a great thing? No, obviously not. But I'm not going to pretend to be outraged that it exists.
Well, we appreciate you filling in. You did such a great job. The staff was so complimentary. And yes, part of the success of this show is the people behind the scenes. Let's not give them too much credit. You know, the egos behind the scenes in the graphic department are a lot. So we got to slow.
Oh, yeah, no, compared to your ego, I know. That's what everybody said around there. They were just like, God, the graphics guy. It's just, can we fit his head through the door? Unbelievable.
Danny Parkins, super talented guy. Love seeing you again, buddy. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including
exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.